what's good, gamers? This is crazy. I thought, honestly, I would have the room completely done, before, before I had to do a video, but that's not, it's not the case, evidently. This is the new room, kind of, sort of, half done. The back wall is not done. The wall, which you can't really see. And then this wall over here, that is the new color up here. Anyway, I'm planning on doing a bigger reveal and like an office tour once I have it completely finished. But as you can see, it's a very different angle. And then maybe we'll have members on a board over here or something. I don't know. I haven't thought that much about it. I also don't have lighting up yet, so I may look a little shadowy, but evidently Attuned Azura is out, and that's like a big deal. So we gotta take a look at that. Am I right? Full disclosure, Big Bro has been drinking a little bit. Okay, we've thrown a couple back because we're celebrating the completion of about 20 hours of work in the office right now. So this could be a short one. Well, I'm just keeping it a buck, man. This could be a short one. All right, let's take a look here, and shout out to all of you who still think I am alive and relevant. Okay, this is the new heroes in Attuned Azura, so I'm assuming it's a Fates banner, right? Right.
I'm not afraid. I might
Mozu.
save you or your friends.
I knew her name started with an M. I don't know who she is.
Alrighty.
Full disclosure. Oh, that is a lot. Oh god, the scroll, dude. Oh god, they're hitting me with a scroll on a drinking night? That's crazy. Okay. We'll come back and look.
You smell like a goat.
Bigness with the bonfire, let's go. Oh. I remember him. Yeah, Yukimura.
Tactician.
Okay. Sure.
As intended.
Okay. That's tight. I did look ahead of time. And I know the previous Candace, I don't know who that is.
Exactly as planned.
We may do a little bit of Googling. so that I know who that is. I know who he is too. Hayato.
On your team.
Okay. Sure.
I shall go.
Yep. So far, this is a skip for me, honestly. I never thought I'd hit him with a back-to-back skip, but like, sheesh. Imagine I did that. A new attuned hero. Well, we know it's Azura. She was in the title. Yo, she's wearing Corrin's clothes. But also her own.
Destinies have followed.
We got fish art. Hell yeah. Oh, that was a kid. Oh, she's in. What are we doing here? Okay. Mercy Wing Echo? Okay. From what I glanced, that seems like it could actually be a good Echo skill. Okay. Interesting.
Our next goal?
I do love me some Azura. We're gonna have to see. Finally, a new story chapter. Hell yeah. I don't see Candace. And we have a spark. I don't know if I'm going to take advantage of that, though. Full disclosure. This is kind of a skip for me, dude. Am I crazy? This is kind of a skip for me. Alright, let's see what... dude, imagine I skip both banners in April. And I'm just... boom. I'm back on track immediately for orb budget. I jokingly said at the beginning of the month, if I just skip every banner in April, all of a sudden, I am back on track. Immediately back on budget. Ahead of budget, in fact. Crazy. Crazy how that would turn out. I don't care about any of these characters. Like, at all. Which I am working on a video that's, like, kind of adjacent to that. That's in the realm of, like, well, what should I pull for, yada yada, stuff like that. Okay, Mozu. Okay, sure. So bonus doubler 4, which I think is still relatively fresh. Bonfire. We got Forager Naginata. We have Slaying in it. We have, at start of turn, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, we're getting a defense and res buff of 6, and a special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat. To unit and allies within 3 spaces of unit for 1 turn. So it's beyond drop. What's the... What is the colloquial for that? It's not drive. It's something. What do we have a general phrase for, like, within 3 spaces? Because I have always said, like, if it's within 2, then it's like drive distance, because that is the, like, the standard nomenclature, I think, for 2-space stuff, right? At start of combat, if unit's HP is going to be 25%, grants Omni buff of 5. Okay. To unit. Grants an additional attack speed defense rest +X to unit, where X equals the number of allies within 3 spaces of unit times 3 + 1, max of 10. So max of 3 units. Makes sense. Doesn't really help you outside of normal 4-team comps. Right? So stuff like Ether Raid's defense, where you have, like, 6. I think 6 is the max. Or offense, where I think you have 5. That so much doesn't matter. So it's really just a 4-team comp where it's her +3. If any space within 2 spaces of unit has a Divine Vein effect applied or counts as difficult terrain, excluding impassable terrain, value is treated as 10. Oh! Okay, that's interesting. We're already introducing, like, I'm going to air quote this, counter mechanics to terrain. That's interesting. Because terrain has been around for, man, just under a year. I think they debuted in August, right? With the Brave banner last year with Corrin and Golvig. I'm gonna be honest. I'm genuinely surprised they haven't introduced counters to that sooner, or just anything that would, like, couple off of that effect, right? But we've just been getting, like, different vein effects mostly, not anything that, like, if this is present, then this effect is active or nullified or, you know, whatever. Value street is 10 and reduces damage from foes first attack by 10. Reduces foes first attacks by X during combat. First attack normally means yada yada. And also, when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores X HP to unit. Triggers even if 0 damage is dealt. So X is big. It's big. And if there's a Vein effect, then it's automatically going to be 10. So you're getting 10 HP back. You're reducing damage by 10, right? And you're also getting an Omni buff of 10, right? I'm air quoting all of these 10s because that's the potential max value. So that's what it boils down to. A little bit of like semi-true damage. I mean, I guess it is true damage reduction. It's true HP restoration. It is true stat buffs. Right. In addition to, you know, the slaying and all of that, the charge downs, things like that. So we're also getting bonus doubler, which, you know, is nice given all that X buffing. Is that what you would call it? X buffing? I don't know. We also have attack speed bulwark, which is the new tier 4 here for that. It looks like pretty much bulwark, but in attack speed flavor. So nothing really crazy on that. Then we have attack speed oath. So she really is mostly just focused on almost exclusively attack and speed, which, I mean, you can see by the base stats here. She does have a good amount of bulk, majorly on the defense end, but ultimately, you know, I mean, her attack and speed are kind of wild. What's the TLDR on this? She is tougher near divine veins and forests. Just tougher. Okay. All right. That does diddly squat for informing new players, but that's fine. She can speed up specials for herself and allies within entry spaces. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I love that she is just tougher. That's such a great explanation for her. We also got Yukimura, which is pretty dope. I remember him from the story. If you're unfamiliar with the lore, I only ever played, shoot, what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Too much bourbon. I have only ever played the third Fates game, which is meant to inform all other Fates games, the Azura-based game. And I can't think of the name right now. I genuinely cannot. I'm so embarrassed. But the point is, I remember this dude being in the game. Does that make me want to pull for him? No, not really. But that's fine. So, perspicacious? Perspicacious. Is that... God. Oh, God, why am I making this video right now? Okay, all right, we're going to power through. We have Slaying, which is great. We have Attack Defense Res buff. And we're reducing damage. We're reducing the percentage of foes non-special reduced damage by X%, skills by 30%. So we're piercing by like 30%, I guess. We're not ignoring them. We're reducing damage reduction's effectiveness of non-special to allies within 7 rows and 7 columns. So we're kind of giving that to what would presumably be an Aether Raids team, given the scaling on what that is. At start of combat, the unit's HP is granted 24%, inflicts penalty on foes' attack defense, equal to the number of allies within 7 rows and 7 columns, centered on unit times 3, plus 6, max of 15. Right? So 3 would be the number of allies that you want to hit there. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 6 is 15. Reduce percentage of foes non-special reduced damage by X%. So really, like, if you're not getting the gist so far, he's very much about, like, piercing. And grant special cooldown charge plus 1 to unit per attack. So basically, he is going to try and boost special piercing. Like, that is basically this. We're going to pop off specials, and we're going to pierce damage reduction. That is his shtick, if you will. So not terrible. I know that there are other units that do that, so I don't know if he's super mandatory for you to get. Fire Flood boost, finally, I feel like that has been, so far, special pool locked. But I think this means we're now finally in the normal standard pool. We're going to Sabotage 83, which looks to be just Sabotage, but in attack defense flavor, which is fine. And then that's it. There's no scroll. Being a dagger, you know, I'm not terribly surprised by this. He is a Cav dagger, looks like. We have what I would probably argue is like a counterattack res tank type situation with 60 attack and 45 res. Only 16 speed, so obviously, you know, that's not ideal for him. But like, there's nothing in here that gives you any kind of follow-up attack or anything like that. So I think he's mostly meant to be like a res tank type situation. But I'll be honest, I don't know that archetype, without any kind of like guaranteed follow-up application or anything like that, or at least nullifying opponent follow-ups, has a place in the current game state. Like, it's a little more competitive than that. I don't feel like this is a very effective unit for what they're gonna do. I do appreciate that they grant, I think it was allies. Did I read that right? Am I understanding that right? To allies within 7 rows. So, you know, I appreciate that he's granting like semi-piercing, 30% piercing to allies, and it's not just exclusively locked to him. But if you have a main damage dealer that can do like maybe even better than 30% ignoring of damage reduction, do you really need him? Yeah. I don't know. I feel, and this may just be my current state, that this is not very necessary for most people. It makes allies within 7x7 area around him more powerful. Okay. So we gotta stop using these blanket terms to explain the intricacies of what's happening here, because that's not helpful for most players. This is literally like, we made up a bunch of stuff. Just trust us, bro. That's what this sentence means, genuinely. He can also effectively inflict attack -30 and defense -37 on foes. See, that is specific information. That is helpful. You know what I mean? Like, just making allies more powerful, what is that telling you? It's not really telling you anything. This can do a thing. This gives you actual stats, and it's helpful. I don't understand why these two sentences are right next to each other. But that's a critique for Nintendo, for whatever, not for you, the viewer. Just know that that's absolutely not helpful, and this actually is semi-helpful. Alright, so then we saw attacks. Yay, fun. Hayato is the new 4-star infantry red tome. Did we look at stats? We did. Honestly, not bad for a 4-star. 55 attack, 45 speed. Decent bulk. Mostly, you know, edged towards res. So that's kind of nice. But definitely a 4-star. Definitely a 4-star. Moonbow. Attack speed ideal 3 and wind sweep 3. Which, admittedly, the easiest way to get wind sweep, I think still to this day, is to grail a Joshua. I think it's Joshua. Unless I'm getting him confused with Soren. One of them has something useful. It may be the same skill. I don't know. But, you know, I guess that's kind of helpful. I'm waiting for, like, Wind Sweep 4. You know what I mean? Or, like, Water Sweep 4. Like, stuff like that. I'm waiting for those things to pop. Which, you know, given that this is a thing in the year 2024, our Lord and Savior, I don't know. That maybe this is hinting that we're going to start getting tier 4s of that type of stuff soon. But maybe. Maybe we will. I'm Rar Lantern. Did I say that right? Probably not. It's a new 4-star tome. Sure. Start a turn if units within 2 spaces of an ally. Grants unit cannot be slowed by terrain. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, it has been about a year and a half since since Desert is Lind came out. So I guess Harmonic Lind would be a better way to phrase her. So yeah, why not introduce a standard 4-star inheritable tome that can do stuff like that? That makes sense. If it hasn't already been done, honestly. Special goes to +1 per attack, Tina for 1 turn. If you initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, you get attack res +5, which I guess is fine. I think attack speed would be more useful, but I guess you also have some tomes that are more like res tank based, so I guess that to an extent that kind of makes sense, right? What's our use magic to let him move around terrain unobstructed as well as speed up his special. Okay, that's not helpful at all. Well, maybe that's not fair. Maybe it kind of is. This, I assume, is going to be our star of the banner. The fan service is heavy. We have a mishmash of core and attire on an Azura. It's ballin'. I'm going to be honest. If I end up rolling on this banner, which currently I'm leaning towards nah, I may just wait until she shows up on another banner, where mayhaps I am just I'm genuinely I'm only in it for the Azura at this point. I may just wait until the Azura is present on a different banner where I'm willing to invest in more rolls. But she looks great. I love me some Tefish art. Okay. Love that. What do our stats look like? Okay. That's pretty solid. 61 attack, 49 speed. I love that they're doing this, by the way. They haven't always shown field stats before. I like that they're doing that. That kind of helps give people a better idea. And they're not like shoving it in your face. So obviously someone who cares about this stuff is going to be able to know to go and look for this particular frame in the trailer. But I mean, if you're just happy to see an Azura, gamer, you don't have to worry about that. I'll love that for you. Tribe Path Splitter. This is maybe the shortest weapon description I have ever seen in the history of Fire Emblem. At least within the last year or two. That's crazy. Enables Kanto, distant +1, max of 4. We got speed +3. Grants, at start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, we're getting an attack speed buff of 6. We're getting null follow-up. We're getting null panic to unit and allies within drive distance for 1 turn. Wow. That's actually pretty good. And I'm looking at the rest of her kit, and I'm not overly excited about that. Yeah. So if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed turns +5 units during combat. I feel like you're probably going to get that just because you're probably going to try and give this buff to units within 2 spaces. So naturally you're going to have units within 3 spaces, right? That is like the general thing, you know? Changing Waters is our special, grants another action to target ally, and target can move 1 extra space. Okay, we're power creeping. We love that. And also grants incited to target and allies within 2 spaces of unit of target. Excluding unit. Target ally cannot sing or dance skills. Yeah, we know that. So the fact that we're getting an extra space, right? So we're going to be able to move again. We're going to Kanto between that, probably, I'm assuming. That's kind of big. To be honest, that's kind of big. And we're getting it incited to target an allies within drive after dancing something up. So I think that that's actually really good. I would argue that, you know, they don't really do good justice to singers and dancers, refreshers, if you will. In Fae, I feel like that is mainly because we are thriving on a system of like bi-weekly power creep. in this game. And, you know, if you can just have your main damage dealer, right? Your main, like, DPS unit, attack twice, then why do you need to invest in 2? You know what I mean? So I feel like they always kind of nerf the advantageousness, if you will, of dancers and singers. So I mean, I'm glad to see this kind of moving in a similar direction, I guess, because you know they're giving more to that type of skill. Because I'd rather have a +10 main damage dealer and then just a single copy of a dancer singer or a refresher that can do more with just that single assist skill. Like, I like that. Even if it's not an inheritable that I can give to a different dancer that I already have, yada yada. I would rather do that. 80 cantrip 3. Bro, it is 2024. We just got a new cantrip skill. Babe, wake up. New cantrip skill just dropped. That's wild. I honestly expected cantrip 4 at this point. But evidently we're not doing that because we can't treat refreshers too well. Also, I guess we don't really have any other cantrip 3s that are that prevalent. I know Summer Dorothea has one. I think cantrip debuted on her just in general. Yeah, that's crazy. Mercy Wing Echo. This is the thing that I think most people are going to be concerned about when it comes to Azura. So if an ally's HP is less than or equal to 50%, you can move to a space adjacent to that ally. Boom. It's pretty much just Wings of Mercy, right? Wings of Mercy 3, I think is what this is. That's really nice. Because in the ever-evolving state of competitiveness for B slot skills, Wings of Mercy is always, like, pretty decent and never a bad choice for support units, like a refresher. But at the same time, we've introduced things like cantrips. There are other buffing skills that accompany dance skills. So I feel as though Wings of Mercy in an echo skill position, specifically on a refresh or support type unit, is very efficient. And that's very effective. You can always do other things there, but I feel like having this in an echo skill slot would never necessarily be a bad thing. And I think overall, most people are going to get a very strong benefit out of that. That said, the rest of the banner looks really bad. So I feel like this is just kind of a banner to bait you into trying to get Azura for the general goodness that is her echo skill. She can sing to allies and then move up to 4 spaces, and she can move to wounded allies with her Attuned skill. Yeah, imagine that. I mean, you don't even have to put that echo skill on, like, a support unit. You could put that on a secondary DPS, right? Or a secondary damage dealer. In that, if your main damage dealer is weakened, they go in, they're maybe bulkier than your glass cannon. Secondary damage dealer, they can kind of swoop in afterwards and just get the KO immediately, right? There's a lot of universal application that can come from that particular echo skill. And given that there's not necessarily a lot of competition for echo skills in general right now, just because there's not that many, this is probably one of the better ones you could pick up because of its universal application, right? So overall, I think that's a really good skill to have. I just don't think this is a banner worth kind of pulling on, unless you just don't care and you're just in it for the spark because it's a guaranteed and you can do that. I don't really see anything else on the banner that's overall that crazy. Genuinely. I think this banner overall, kind of mid. and again, could just be my current mental state. I may wake up and have a completely different opinion. but presently, I think that, you know, Azura looks great for what it's worth. Azura in like the garb, like that all looks fantastic. I love the fan service that's happening here with like the dressing crossover stuff. However, I think the banner overall is not worth your time. I think this one's a little bit mid, and you're probably better suited to wait until particularly Azura pops up on a different banner, that if you don't end up getting her, you get something a little bit better. Now that said, if any of these characters are your favorite, then you should pull on them, right? Because you're always going to have a better time playing with characters or units that you really like, and that's going to boost your overall experience in the game, and that is what we're here for. We're here for good times and good vibes. And if any of these characters are going to do that for you, then obviously the banner's worth your time. It's worth your orbs. It's worth your investment. If not, Big Bro here telling you, whatever's in this banner right now is not necessarily going to be relevant in the next month or so. Just straight up. Azura's Echo skill probably will be. Okay? But everything else, probably not. And you can pick her up on a different banner. So, that's my advice to you. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I can't believe I made this through yapping for a half hour. A little bit tipsy, admittedly. But hey, we did it. Thanks for watching. Happy Saturday. I hope to see you again very soon. And so, on that note, I will see you in the next one.